And welcome to chilly Fort Worth, Texas, where today two teams with something to prove hope to end their 2016 seasons on a strong note. 9-4 Navy has a chance to win 10 games in back-to-back seasons for the first time in school history. Meanwhile, one of the top rushing attacks in the country, the midshipmen, will tangle with Louisiana Tech. The Bulldogs with one of the top passing attacks on the planet. Who will prevail? Louisiana Tech and the Naval Academy. Kickoff is headed your way next. And welcome to the Lone Star State. Louisiana Tech and Navy, two teams fresh off of conference championship game appearances earlier this month. And great to have you with us alongside a former UCLA standout and New England Patriot, Tom Ramsey, Chris Budden down on the field. I am Roy Philpott, and if you like offense, Tom, you've come to the right place for this one. These two teams, two of the most explosive attacks in the country.
Yeah, really good. Louisiana Tech brings in one of the top passing games in the country, number 3 in total offense this year, passing the ball. And then for Navy, they run the ball in contrast to Louisiana Tech. They're one of the top rushing teams in the country, but I expect a lot of points between them today. It's
going to be a lot of fun, a lot of fireworks. They're already going off here in Fort Worth. And for the Bulldogs, we talk about passing games. Two of the top receivers you probably haven't heard enough about. Carlos Henderson, this guy can do it all.
Well, yeah, absolutely. If you haven't read or heard about him, Carlos Henderson and Trent Taylor, two of the top receivers in the country. Between them, 27 touchdowns. Carlos Henderson brings in a great yards per catch average, 19.5 yards per catch. And, you know, Ryan Higgins, you think about when the guys spreading the ball all around, he's looking for these two guys a lot today because I think the matchup is this, Roy. I think the wide receivers of La Tech can go against the Navy defenders, and they have a good shot.
It's going to be a lot of fun to watch this attack all afternoon long. Meanwhile, for Navy, it's been an up-and-down season for the midshipmen. Won 10 games last year, but a lot of injuries suffered this season. It's been a little bit of an issue at times, but give them credit. They've bounced back, started the year off 3-0. And they've overcome these injuries to make it all the way here to Fort Worth.
Well, quite a bit of adversity has the Navy team seen, and they lost Tago Smith, of course, early on. Will Worth came in mid-season. They had a huge upset of Houston, and I thought that was tremendous. And then they stumbled against USF, and they got to the championship game. Both Navy and Louisiana Tech getting to the championship games. Of course, Navy losing to Temple 34-10, and they had 4 players get hurt. They had their quarterback get hurt again, and that opened the door for another young quarterback.
No question. Zach Abey getting set to make his second career start. Disappointing the first half in the loss to Army. Very strong in the second half as we check in for the first time with Chris Budden. Chris?
Well, Navy head coach Ken Niumatalolo compared Abey's progress to like cooking a pizza. He said that he wasn't ready to take him out of the oven yet. The cheese was still melting. But I talked with Abey earlier this week, and he said he's feeling a little bit more comfortable in this offense. Will Worth has been a huge help for that. One of the reasons is that he delayed having the surgery for his foot until after the Army game. I talked with him this week, and he says he's still in Abey's ear, but that for the most part, he's able to do everything on his own. He said once you see this offense live once, you're a lot more comfortable. So Will said he'll still be there talking in his ear, but for the most part, he's comfortable and confident.
Chris, thank you very much. And Tom, you know better than just about anybody, playing the quarterback position in college, in the Pac-12, and also in the NFL for all of those seasons. It takes some time to get acclimated, and when you're thrown into the mix and not expecting it, that can be a little bit of an issue. Will Worth watching this one from the sideline, injured, of course, as Tom mentioned, in the American Championship game earlier this month.
And Roy, I don't think you ever expected, you don't want those things to happen, injuries, but, you know, Navy's had their share of injuries throughout the season, and I think more than anything, Navy knows how to respond to that adversity, and Zach Abey really came along. Skip Holtz, of course, leading his team. They lost in their conference championship game as well, the Conference USA game. They lost to Western Kentucky.
And, of course, the head man running the Naval Academy, Ken Niumatalolo, in his 9th season has done a remarkable job. 3 straight bowl wins. And again, a win today would mark the second straight campaign of 10 wins or more for the first time in school history. Well, Louisiana Tech won the coin toss and elected to receive. Louisiana Tech averaging more than 44 points per contest coming in. Top 5 in passing, Navy top 5 in rushing. Just about set, ready to go. Louisiana Tech in the red jerseys, white pants, Navy in the white jerseys, and the Navy pants, of course. Bitted Mooring set to kick things off here in beautiful Fort Worth, Texas. And the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl is underway. Henderson from the 2. The stutter step. Keeps the play alive. Still on his feet, Carlos Henderson, and there he goes. On the opening kickoff of the game. Into plus territory, far side, and ushered out of bounds inside the 20. Let the fireworks begin right now, my friend.
Well, here's a guy we knew he was explosive. We watched him on the field before the game. Carlos Henderson averaging 30 yards per return. And you ever wonder when you walk out on the field early like I do, there's a ton of NFL scouts where here's the reason why Carlos Henderson is climbing up the draft boards today, and you get a return like that on the first play of the game. That's pretty remarkable.
5th in the country in all-purpose yards coming in, nearly 2,000 in the regular season. An outstanding field position, obviously, for the Bulldogs on their opening possession from the 16-yard line of Navy. And Higgins out of the pistol on first down. Handed off to Kraft. And Kraft right up the gut. Short of the 5. Gain of 6.5 on first down. Ryan Higgins, a starting quarterback for Louisiana Tech. Incredible numbers. 3rd in the country in passing yards this year. Can make all the throws. And with the 37 touchdowns as well, he knows how to reach that end zone, Tom.
Yeah, he had a tremendous year this year. He really, you know, he showed great patience and understanding of Skip Holtz's offense.
Inside give, Kraft straight ahead. Down at the 2, it'll be 1st and goal from there. The hit by Sean Williams.
And Roy, you know, in talking to Skip Holtz this week, he thought they might have a chance, an advantage in special teams, and we saw that on the first play of the game.
Going with their tempo offense, inside give to Kraft once again. Did he cross the plane? No sign yet. Kraft gained over 1,000 yards this season. He'll be marked short of the goal line.
I always say what makes a good passing game is a good run game, and Jared Kraft over 1,000 yards this year. I mean, he'll get the tough yards.
On the keeper, Higgins, can he get to the edge? Touchdown, Louisiana Tech. He had to twist and turn to reach the goal line. That he did. And just like that, the Bulldogs on the board.
Well, great read that time by Ryan Higgins. He pulled the ball out. It looked as though it was a little, might have been just a quarterback option. He had a nice fake into the line, and then Higgins with great extension there, leg drive, getting the ball over for the score.
Jonathan Barnes extra point up. It is good. Our new score, 7-0. 13:35 remaining in our first quarter. And Tommy, if you like fireworks, this is the bowl game for you. Carlos Henderson, the kick return to set up the first score of the game. Ryan Higgins, the all-star quarterback, with the honors this time. Yeah, the Bulldogs of Conference USA, Louisiana Tech, really not needing help from its special teams this year. They get it in the form of Carlos Henderson on the opening drive of the game. Louisiana Tech a 7-0 lead. Chris Budden, Tom Ramsey, Roy Philpott here in Fort Worth. And Navy set to receive the ensuing kickoff. Back deep, Dyson Romine, the speedster from Louisville, Kentucky. You see his numbers this season. Jonathan Barnes will kick it off for Louisiana Tech. Well, not even 90 seconds in, we've got points on the board. Dropped inside the 20 and barreling ahead across the 30. It's John Brown. It'll be 1st and 10 for Navy after a 15-yard return. Zach Abey making just his 2nd career start. Started slow in the loss to Army, but really showed a lot of heart in that second half.
Yeah, he really did. I think at halftime was the turning point for him. They went in at halftime. Ivan Jasper, the offensive coordinator, He went to draw stuff up on the board, Roy, and he was like, you know what? I got nothing to draw up. Hey, Zach, play better. Let's execute the offense and get after it. And they had a remarkable second half. They still lost the game, but they had a remarkable second half, and AB really showed his stripes.
No question about it. One wide receiver set on first down. They'll run the option. The late pitch. Romine off to the races far side. You have to play assignment football facing this offense. And Louisiana Tech fails for the first time as Xavier Woods brings down the ball carrier. Not before a gain of 20.
Well, Blake Baker, the defensive coordinator for Louisiana Tech, was worried about just this. The speed of the Navy offense. They get out on the edge, and they're cut blocking on the edge. The wide receivers are very good blockers, and a great late pitch that time by AB.
Got to think, too, Tom, it's good to get his confidence going early with that option game. A big play on first down. Plus territory, this time from the 48 for Navy. Late pitch, ball is fumbled, and the scrum, I believe Louisiana Tech came up with it. Prince Sam was able to get in there, and an early turnover, a costly one for Navy.
And I thought the pitch was good that time by AB. It was out in front of the back, and you know, it was a quick pitch, and it went out to Calvin Cass, and he just dropped the ball. And Prince Sam right there, I mean, AB put the ball out in front. He led Cass on the pitch, and, you know, they're going at full speed. So that ball actually is right where the running back is going to catch it. And Coach Ken Niumatalolo not real happy about that one.
The senior Cass, a rare fumble, was so instrumental in the win against Houston. Here's Carlos Henderson tiptoeing down the sidelines. And let's see where they mark him out. All the way up to the 40-yard line. Louisiana Tech in business once again.
Again, these quick screens that the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs run, they really are an extension of the run game. And Carlos Henderson, of course, was a converted running back. He was a running back in high school and came out of New Orleans. And what a great find for La Tech.
Taylor. 41st consecutive game with a catch, still on his feet. First and goal for Louisiana Tech. Brought down by Jared Ryan. And the Bulldogs are rolling here early. It's a gain of 30.
And think about this, partner. As good as Carlos Henderson is, he was over 1,400 yards this year. Trent Taylor, number 5, 124 catches, 1,570 yards. I mean, just tremendous at the receiver position.
Kraft stacked up. Amos Mason led the charge for Navy. Second down and goal from inside the 5. And what a fast start for Louisiana Tech, a team that lost to Western Kentucky in the Conference USA Championship game by 2 touchdowns. We knew coming in this offense was explosive. You know, the question for bowl games as well, Tom, which team is more motivated to close its season strong? Which team is more engaged over the course of bowl week? The practices.
Yeah, and I think getting off to a fast start in a bowl game is almost even more important than anything else.
Here's Kraft. Lasso from behind, driven down at the 5. A nice stop by Sean Williams, a hard-hitting, strong safety.
I saw a moment ago, you know, Louisiana Tech's offense, Roy, scoring. They come in scoring 44 points. On average, which is 5th in the country, and then of course their pass game, which is 3rd in the country. It's something that Navy's not quite used to. I kind of liken it to maybe a Houston that Navy saw earlier this year, even a Tulsa, where, you know, this offense is explosive, it's dynamic, they got a great quarterback who can throw it all over the yard.
3rd down and goal, the pump fake, and incomplete. Breaking across the middle of the end zone was Cam McKnight. And Patrick Forrestall batted it down. So a big stop right there for Navy with Louisiana Tech driving.
Big stop for Navy that time. And Dale Pearson, the defensive coordinator, you know, he was the one that told me, he said, you know, they kind of remind me of Tulsa a little bit. They're physical up front. The Bulldogs have a good offensive line, and they have a good kicker, too.
Barnes 20 for 25 this season from 22 yards out on the right hash. And he banks it home. Louisiana Tech strikes again. 10-0 the score. Here at the Armed Forces Bowl in Fort Worth. Well, these two teams have had such a great time here in Fort Worth for this bowl game this week. And it's good to see that Mother Nature has accommodated us somewhat today. A little light drizzle in the area, but for the most part it has moved out. And a fast start for Louisiana Tech. 10-0 lead, and even halfway through the first 15 minutes. And from inside the 5, brought down to the 26. First and 10 for Navy there for its second possession after a gain of 21, as we take a look at our impact players once again.
Well, we knew with Navy coming in and wanting to get that offense going once again, Sean White, the fullback, becomes a very big element of that triple option, but puts a lot of pressure on that defense of La Tech. And Xavier Woods, the senior safety, just a tremendous player, having a great year. And Brandon Durman getting a start at the Mike linebacker. He moves over from outside and, you know, puts a lot of pressure on that inside to slow that fullback down.
Make the handoff to White down the field and wide open. It should have been 6. Daryl Bonner found the seam, and AB simply overthrew him. And look at Will Worth telling his guy to calm down. They've been roommates this week leading into this bowl game.
Well, Will Worth might be the best quarterback coach in the country right now for his team, because he knows exactly what Zach Abe's seeing and feeling. That time he just got a little over anxious. We talked about the points per game, 41.7 in the first 11 games, 13.5 in the last 2 starts. Think about that, against Temple and against Army.
Second down and 10. The option, AB with a crease. And knocked down short of the 45 by Lloyd Grogan, a gain of 9.
They're tops in the country in third down conversion. They have a 3rd and 1, and I would think right here, if they wouldn't make it somehow on 3rd down, Roy, they'd go for it on 4th as well.
And plus territory, Sean White, the jumbo fullback in the backfield. All 255 pounds of him. And he'll get the carry straight ahead. First down, Navy. Avon Washington made the tackle. Chopped him down, but not before White picked up the first.
And that's the pressure they put on a defense. They get into those 3rd and shorts, and then they keep making the chains clang around. And they want that to happen. They want the ball out of the hands of Louisiana Tech.
Play action down the field, inside the 10 and incomplete. Double coverage arrived. Craig Scott, the intended target. Xavier Woods in there to try to disrupt it.
Craig Scott, the junior out of Kansas City, hasn't caught a lot of balls on the year, just one for 7 yards. Will Worth heading off to be an officer for the Marines. They have a lot of Marine officers on this team.
Yes, they do. It was interesting too. They showed up this week, had to take final exams at the team hotel. The academics as intense as you'll find in the Naval Academy. Off the option, the late pitch, and Cass finally corrals it. Near disaster after the fumbled exchange on Navy's first possession, and Cass was able to bring it in, and fortunate to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, AB again with the pitch, this time a left-handed pitch. I thought again the pitch is out in front, and that one might have been a little soft and underthrown to Cass, but Cass came up with it.
3rd down and long. No receivers in this formation for the midshipmen. 10-0 Louisiana Tech. And the Mids need some points on this drive if they can get them. AB flush, looking downfield. First down, and the pass complete to Chris High, off to the races, shoved out of bounds inside the 5. It'll be 1st and goal. Nolan Lewis finally ended that play, but not before. A gain of 38 yards.
Well, I would have said a week ago in the first half against Army, Zach Abey might not have made this play. He eludes a defender, and then his eyes go down the field, but then he got his eyes back to Chris High.
That's a big pitch and catch there for AB's confidence and for this offense.
Oh, huge. And you know, that's what gets that Navy team going. A couple big plays and a great block down the field by Jameer Tillman.
AB, touchdown! from 3 yards out, and Navy on the board for the first time this afternoon.
I like the play call. That time they don't hand it to the big fullback, Sean White. They just allowed him to block and create an opening for Zach Abey. Nice play call that time by Ivan Jasper. Big number 31 becomes really a pulling guard from that fullback position.
Making just his second career start, Zach Abey has his team on the board. 10-7 our new score. 4:04 remaining in our first quarter. And how about the sophomore who grew up just 5 miles from Annapolis, reaching pay dirt for the first time? And we got a ball game. Now points in bunches here at the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl back in Fort Worth. 10-7. Louisiana Tech out in front of number 25 Navy. An impressive drive just concluded moments ago. Zach Abey, the third-string quarterback for the midshipmen this season, converting from 3 yards out. Two teams that both played in their conference's championship games, looking to end their seasons on good notes. And now Navy set to kick things off. Bennett Mooring. See if they try to kick it away from Carlos Henderson. And they will not. Henderson from his 2. Henderson, look at the speed. There he goes. Cuts it back inside. It'll be 1st and 10 for Louisiana Tech. Off the pump fake. Looking downfield for Henderson. Can he get there? And he can't. Ryan Higgins led his star wide receiver a bit too far. Daquan Thomason in coverage. 2nd and 10.
Daquan Thomason running well that time, staying stride for stride with Henderson, and the ball was put out well. It was interesting, you know, Chris Budden and I were down on the field. We were talking with Carlos Henderson, and she said, you know, hey, he's got some long legs. And I said, he can run. He is like a track star.
2nd down, pressure from up the middle expected here from Navy. Tunnel screen. Pass will be caught by Connor Smith. Makes a move near side into plus territory. The hit by Micah Thomas. It's a gain of 19. We'll take it on a chilly day in Texas in mid-December. After the first down pitch and catch, Higgins flush. And straight ahead, he'll slide down to the 31-yard line. Justin Norton came in late.
It was nice of Steve Levy and Mac Brown to take the short straw and go to the Bahamas, wasn't it?
It certainly was. Tell you what, we were out at the Gildan, New Mexico Bowl last week, and Mac was on the television call. We had the radio call, and just hanging out with him. You learn so much about the game and how he approaches things. It's my first interaction. We had a great time out in Albuquerque. A big win for the Lobos that day as well.
Yeah, Bob Davies done a great job.
Swing pass to Taylor. He's got the first down on 2nd and 4. Taylor will pick up 6. Ryan knocked him down, but the drive continues.
So you're all brushed up on the triple option and the speed option.
We've been living it this year.
New Mexico, they really bring it. They bring it, as well as Navy.
Under 2 to play in the first quarter. Louisiana Tech really everything working on offense so far, Tom.
Yeah, as long as they work in the running back, I think they feel real good about their offense. And then Higgins just finds the open man.
Sit it to the back. Kraft needs to make a move. Cannot. Driven down to the 25 by Norton. Nice play in open space by the linebacker.
Yeah, really nice tackle that time. And it really, this is, you know, even for Navy to prepare for a team like Louisiana Tech, it really kind of puts a lot of pressure on the edges of the Navy defense. Navy wants to play you within the phone booth, right? They want to kind of mug you, if you will, but this offense, there's no mugging available because everything happens out on the edge.
Facing a 4-man front. Give goes to Kraft, right up the gut across the 20. It'll be 3rd down and a long 2. Uzoma made the stop. And this college football season, make sure you stream every game live on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. Download the app or visit watchespn.com today. Time winds down in a quick moving first quarter. Third and 3. Taylor got to the edge. Taylor off to the races. Touchdown, Louisiana Tech. Well, Tom, you won't find many easier than that one right there. From 19 yards out, the Bulldogs back on the board.
Wow, you know, 3rd and 3, and Ryan Higgins can zip the ball outside wide. And Trent Taylor, again, once he has the ball in his hands, he's really, really dynamic. But he got some great blocks out in front, particularly number 9, Connor Smith, the senior. I mean, he upended his defender with a great block and allowed Taylor just to dance into the end zone.
Barnes splits the upright, 17-7. And the Bulldogs averaging 44 points per game, already off and rolling here today.
On the flip side, Navy has to be efficient, and this drive becomes very important because I think you want to start the new quarter after this play. They want to be able to get it and score again and keep it close.
Romine from inside his own 1, tumbles his way across the 25. Midshipman with possession of the ball after a 27-yard return. Rain coming down in Fort Worth. Tillman on the tunnel screen with a stiff arm. Is able to get to the edge and bowls his way across the 35. 2nd and 1 coming up on a nice looking pitch and catch.
Well, Jameer Tillman, when he straight armed the defender, he had a little hole of a face mask, but I don't think they called it.
Now the skies have opened up here in Fort Worth. The offense aplenty. For this holiday season, the Armed Forces Bowl off and rolling. 17-7, Louisiana Tech, the 10-point lead.
Welcome back to Fort Worth as Louisiana Tech leads at 17-7. The rain coming off and on, and I am joined with a special guest who's waiting out the rain with me, the Secretary of the Navy, Ray Mabus. Thanks so much for joining us. You've been to several of Army-Navy games. What's it like to see these guys enjoy football before they go out to serve our country?
Well, every one of these guys playing here today is going to turn pro. They're just going to turn pro in service of our country. And these are the best America has to offer. They take an incredible academic load, all the military stuff, and then,
How about that? Nice.
okay, we need to do more of these interviews.
Ooh, that was America's in good hands, right?
No doubt.
Just a great play that time. Zach Avey puts his foot in the ground, spins around, and gets a ball to Daryl Bonner, who they are as happy as could be. Him back in the lineup. He went through concussion protocol, and we get a little reaction from the secretary. That's great.
2 plays, 73 yards in 24 seconds. And I would say Secretary Mabus has brought his team some good luck, Chris.
Yeah, Secretary said he'd stay out here and talk with me all game if it ends up like this. Let's talk a little bit more about the football teams and the athletic teams. How much do they help in terms of recruitment for the Navy?
Well, the pride that comes from these teams and how well they do and how well they represent. I mean, we've got record recruiting right now. We've got record retention. Like I said, these are the best America has to offer. And the Naval Academy is one of the most exclusive schools in terms of we get about 20,000 applicants for 1,100 spaces. So lots of people want to come to Navy and lots of people want to serve. And that says a lot about America.
I don't know if many people know this, but the Department of Defense changed the rules this year that will allow athletes from service academies to go to the pros like Keenan Reynolds did without having to get special exception, and you were a chairman of that. Explain to me why that was important for you guys.
Well, I was the one that changed it for Navy, and it was important because somebody like Keenan Reynolds, every time he trots out on the field, he represents Navy, and it does help us with recruiting. It helps us with getting the message out. The Navy and Marine Corps are America's away team. When we're doing our job, we're away from home. And so having people like Keenan, having people that are playing in the pros, doing that, and then they're still in the reserves. So they go make appearances for us. They do a lot of Navy stuff along with their pro ball. And we got We got people playing pro baseball. We got people playing pro soccer. So it's not just football.
Well, I appreciate the time, and as much as we love to sit here and chat because it seemed to be good luck for the Navy, I'll let you cheer.
All right, thank you so much. Go Navy.
Guys.
Thank you very much, Chris. Yes, I would say good luck indeed after that quick scoring strike. And Navy down by just 3. 1st and 10 for Louisiana Tech, and Higgins brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Jarvis Polu, the sack. That'll be his 3rd this season.
And Roy, they feed off the momentum, both offense, defense, special teams. Navy right there. Polu with a great tackle that time in the backfield on Ryan Higgins, and did a great job getting off the blocker that time. And he's a big young fellow out of Las Vegas, Liberty High, 6'3", 280. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you a secret about Navy. They like coming to Texas because they get a lot of guys out of the state of Texas. 25 on the roster.
No question about it. After a loss of 12, they'll get some of that yardage back. Wooten makes the stop on Carlos Henderson. 3rd down and long coming up for Louisiana Tech.
Well, and I've just been so impressed. You know, you get to, when you're at the bowl week, I went out, watched practice, and talked to some of the players and coaches. And I have to tell you, the Navy players are exceptional people. And, you know, and the seniors, they're going to be officers. I mean, they're stepping foot. You know, a lot of them aren't going to play pro football. Great young men.
A lot of them also very happy to play in this bowl game, even the seniors. Pressure. And a pass is incomplete, looking for Henderson on the crossing route. The pocket collapsed. Ted Colburn led the charge. And the first punt of the game coming up for the Bulldogs.
Well, there's no foul for intentional grounding. Got an illegal receiver in the area.
The Navy defense once again lights out that time, bringing extra pressure that time on Higgins. And you know, there's something to be said about Navy and the brotherhood. You know, they say, hey, play for the guy on your left, play for the guy on your right. That time the defense with another big stop.
Schaus on to punt this one away. And the floater will be grabbed by Cass at his own 35. And dances way across the 45. And then brought down after a return of 13. Punt of 41 yards. It'll be 1st and 10 for Navy. When we come back, 13:04 remaining here in our first half. Back here in Fort Worth, 17-14. Louisiana Tech with the lead, but Navy with possession. With the option, Abey keeps it. And across the 35, a gain of 6. Navy's been very impressive on the ground. It took a little time to get going. And then that last touchdown strike in just 2 plays. The Secretary of the Navy, Ray Mabus, looking on. Couldn't have timed that one any better.
Yeah, they had the fumble early on, and that definitely set them back. But I'd say they have started to get in rhythm. They've kept the plan simple, but they've really been aggressive in the play calling.
With the option, Abey, the keeper, to the edge, a stiff arm. Abey off to the races, dives short of the end zone. 1st down and goal coming up for the Mids.
Well, and that's where they want to get Abey. They want him to carry the ball. They want him to do some running. And Ivan Jasper, the offensive coordinator, told me, you know, listen, he earned the street cred against Army in the 2nd half. And he played his heart out. But, you know, they're used to winning games. Under Niumatalolo, they are very successful. They're on the verge of yet another 10-win season, and that's never been done in the history of Navy football.
Sean White, the fullback, will look over to the sideline once again for the play call after a gain of 30 by Abey. In just his 2nd career start. He's one time committed to Buffalo, instead ended up at the Naval Academy. And Abey with his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon.
And that's just execution at the line of scrimmage that time, Roy. The entire offensive line of Navy had lower pad level than Louisiana Tech's defense. The low man wins every time, and Navy that time just exploded off the ball. Abey following the Biggins up front, gets over for the score.
After the costly face mask penalty, Navy goes 52 yards in just 3 plays. Bennett Mooring's extra point is good. And for the first time this afternoon, the Mids have grabbed the lead at the Armed Forces Bowl in Fort Worth. 21-17. Zach Abey, his second score of the afternoon. Tommy, wouldn't you know it, cheese is made in Wisconsin, surfboards are made in California, and all is well in the world when footballs are made in the great state of Texas.
Now drop and give me 10, Philpott. How about some push-ups for the points, huh?
Hey, 21-17, we got a ball game just as we drew it up. A lot of offense here in the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. After Navy grabbed its first lead of the ball game, Henderson may have just given it right back, and I believe he did. That's a live football. Navy gets it back. A costly mistake by Carlos Henderson, and the ball just bounced around there forever, and Terrence Laster was able to corral it.
Well, they elected to more or less pooch it, and you're absolutely correct, Roy. Carlos Henderson just misjudged it, and the ball, somehow the ball stayed in bounds.
The kick did not touch the receiving team. However, the kicking team member was out of bounds when he touched the ball. Therefore, we have a kick out of bounds. It'll be 1st and 10 for Louisiana.
Wow. So after all of that, what appeared to essentially be a turnover, a technicality will basically give it back to the Bulldogs.
So there's
Hand off to Boston. They try the right side. And Boston Scott, quality pickup on first down, brought down by Micah Thomas.
And on the far side, Tyrus Wooten and Carlos Henderson are just going at each other. Henderson that time trying to block, and Wooten there to mix it up.
2nd down, 3 to go. Scott again with the carry, right up the gut. 1st down, Louisiana Tech. And gang tackle near the 35. Brandon Jones initiated the contact, and the drive continues. They'll empty the backfield as Scott will go to the slot, and Taylor lassoed down. Here comes the penalty flag. It'll be 1st and goal for Tech. Thomason, the guilty party, and that'll cost him. And the senior out of Clayton, North Carolina, has had an active first half.
Personal foul. Defense number 26 grabs in the opening of the helmet. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic. 1st down.
2.5 penalties per game for Navy this year. That led the country.
Well, they're at 2.5 right now.
On this drive. With Taylor.
Yeah, another great look. Taylor running a little stop route.
And pick your poison this deep in the red zone. Higgins has 37 touchdown passes this year. Boston Scott in the backfield with 5 TD rushes. And he'll get the call, the deep give. 2nd and goal coming up. Zoma knocked him down. Important drive for Louisiana Tech, which once led this game 17-7.
Yeah, you'd think, and they had a lot of momentum at that mark at 17-7. This drive becomes very important to finish for Louisiana Tech.
8th play coming up for the Bulldogs out of Conference USA. Started their season 1-3 before reeling off 7 wins in a row before Skip Holtz was named the Conference USA Coach of the Year. Taylor will shift off a play action, the dump off to Smith. Can he get to the end zone? He cannot. Sandwiched between 2 defenders. Micah Thomas made sure there was no more to that one.
Boy, and Micah Thomas running so well from that inside linebacker position, and Connor Smith is a fast guy. He slides across the formation, and they get the ball to him in the flat. And the ball's on time, too. Ryan Higgins got the ball out quick, but Thomas with exceptional athleticism chasing him down and making the play.
Henderson checks back in. Higgins gets the call from the side. halfway through the second quarter.
Matchup on the far side, Henderson and Wooten once again.
And that's where he's going, looking for the back shoulder fade, touchdown. And the Bulldogs strike again. Wooten in coverage. It did not matter. The smooth, soft hands of Carlos Henderson in play once again.
Well, they saw it by alignment. They had man-to-man across the board. And Ryan Higgins said, listen, I'm going to throw a 50-50 ball. Carlos Henderson against Tyrus Wooten coming down for the score. Is Henderson another spectacular catch by number 1.
And for all you scouts out there, it looked as if he got 2 feet in the back corner of the end zone, which is what you need in the NFL. Henderson, just a redshirt junior, but with NFL ability. None smoother that you'll see in college football this year. Carlos Henderson, nearly 2,000 all-purpose yards this season, another touchdown, his 18th of the year.
Yeah, good drive that time by the Bulldogs.
Barnes kickoff, fielded inside the 5. And a running lane opens up briefly. Across the 30 goes Romine. And Zach Abey across the 45 into plus territory, a gain of 10 as the drive continues, and we check in once again with Chris.
Well, watching Abey on the sidelines, this is the first time I've actually seen him smile all game. He told me before that Army game that he was extremely nervous, but that he's finally kind of started to calm down. He was, even in the beginning of this game, kind of shoulders tensed up, but now he's starting to smile, laugh a little bit.
Take me back to your first start, my friend. You had to be nervous, right?
You just got to get roughed up a little bit, and then everything's okay. Then you're playing football again. That's the game.
It's not rocket science, it's football.
It's football. It's fun, though.
It's been fun for Zach Abey so far today, in command of this offense. Walker was the man in motion, and Abey straight ahead, a short pickup on first down.
Well, and yesterday at the Armed Forces Bowl luncheon, Nate Boyer was the keynote speaker. Nate Boyer, you know, did tours of duty, I believe 4 tours of duty in Afghanistan. And he said, you know, I was trying to figure out what to do with my life, and I kind of always liked football. He didn't play in high school, but he walked on in Texas and became a long snapper and even snapped for the Seattle Seahawks. And I was like, you know, he'd say, well, why'd I do that? He goes, because football is fun. That's why.
Oh, what a great story.
Yeah.
Walker on the pitch, far side run with the lane, an awkward fall, and ushered out of bounds near the 24-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Mids.
So, partner, look at the clock, 3:53 and counting. And I said at the 7-minute mark, I said, this is where Navy starts to grind on people. And they get the pitch outside. It's a great job of staying on balance by Trey Walker. But they take their time at the line of scrimmage. They're patient. But trust me, their coaching staff has an eye on the clock the whole time. They want to keep grinding this clock down, and they want to get good efficient drive. I think the efficiency is the key here, as well as the score.
And this can also be taxing on the defense as well, just waiting for the play to come in. We've seen Zach Abey look over to the sideline most of this first half, only to end up in the option. Abey had the pitch man for a moment, elected to keep it, and brought down by Colin Scott.
Nice play by Colin Scott, again coming from that inside linebacker position. He took a great angle and just ran the alley and nailed Zach Abey in the backfield. He ends up finding a crease between blockers. And boy, he gets shot out of a cannon and hits Abey.
Well, it's option football. You have to know your assignment. Fullback looking for the dive. Quarterback looking for the keeper, and the pitch man. We heard it all week long from this Louisiana Tech coaching staff. The sweep goes to Cass far side and sent out at the 20. A loud collision at the end. Elliot Blankenship knocked him out.
And this will be an interesting call for Ken Niumatalolo, because I'd consider yourself down in 4-down territory to get the first. See a whole pile up on the sidelines. It's nice that they have those pads that protect the cheerleaders over there.
Yes, sir. 3rd and 7. Two of the top offenses in the country on display today. Navy top 5 in rushing. Louisiana Tech top 5 in passing. Approaching 2 to go in the first half, and they'll pass it. Abey, sensing the pressure, can not get out of the pocket, rather, and brought down by Russell Ferris. Navy attempting a field goal. Officially a 39-yarder from the left hash. Bennett Mooring, 1 for 3 from this distance this year. Plenty of leg strength, and he splits the uprights. Tied at 24, 2:02 remaining here in the second quarter. So a little bit different there as Scott is set to receive the ensuing kick. And from inside his own 5, will tap dance across the 15.
You know, with Louisiana Tech calling a timeout before Navy kicked that field goal, they leave themselves with 2 timeouts and some decent field position.
Higgins back in, guns it across the middle. It's caught. And on first down, he'll gain 13. Trent Taylor, another grab in what's been a sensational senior campaign for the senior from Shreveport.
Remember, this is a team that scores. They average 44 points a game, 360 yards passing per game on average. So Ryan Higgins can spin it.
Extremely accurate. Strong arm for Higgins. He'll step up and this time take off. Higgins towards the sideline and will race out of bounds at the 35. I just like hearing you get up on your soapbox, so I was trying to lead you into that, and we'll get you back there, I think, at some point in the second half, because it is something a lot of people are talking about right now. We haven't seen it before. Now we're seeing it perhaps much more than we ever anticipated.
You know me, we've worked enough together. 2 things. 1, football is fun, and then finish. Finish drives, finish the season, finish what you started out doing.
Finish the broadcast.
Don't get misdirected.
2nd and 5, 1:27 remaining, and the Bulldogs with 1 timeout to work with. Averaging 44 points per game this year. Higgins directing traffic, and will wisely float this one out of bounds.
I like Higgins, and I like his judgment. You know, he had a redshirt year. He came in 2012 into Louisiana Tech. He redshirted, and Skip Holtz took over in 2013, and he started 6 of the 9 games he played in. It might have been a little early. Coach Holtz told me, he said, you know, we might have had to play him a little early. And then the following 2 years, in 2014, Cody Sokol, who was a transfer 5th-year guy out of Iowa, and then Jeff Driscoll last year, Higgins had to sit behind both of them and watch.
He's waited for his turn, has the first down. Taylor again, another reception, and plows his way ahead to the 47 as the drive continues. Knocked down by Thomason after a gain of 12.
And Roy, there's always something to be said for quarterbacks that they get thrust into playing early, then they have to take a back seat, and then they see the game at a different perspective.
Give goes to Kraft. Spins around into plus territory by Micah Thomas. First down, a surprising handoff results in a gain of 8 positions. Now on 2nd down, out of the timeout, Higgins will float it across the middle. Taylor's got it, headed towards the end zone. Touchdown, Trent Taylor. And just like that, the Bulldogs back out in front.
Boy, what a fantastic play call coming out of a timeout, and they dial one up. Skip Holtz, Tim Rattay over on the sideline for Louisiana Tech, and Ryan Higgins throws a dart. I mean, he throws a dart to Trent Taylor, and then Taylor, so explosive and so good with run after catch, getting in for the score. That's just a big time play.
You know, his lone scholarship offer was to Louisiana Tech, and he has done an incredible job stepping into such a star role for this program throughout his career. And the fireworks were aplenty here at the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. 31-24, Louisiana Tech, a 7-point lead headed to halftime as we send you back to the studio in Denver. Guys, and welcome back to the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl, all a part of Capital One Bowl Mania here in beautiful Fort Worth, Texas. It is great to have you with us. Start of the second half between Louisiana Tech and Navy. And great to have you on board. Tom Ramsey, Roy Philpott, Chris Budden down on the field. 486 total yards in the first half, 55 points combined between these two teams. Hey, what a game this has been so far, my friend.
Exciting, partner. I tell you, football's fun. Stick around and watch some more because we knew it was going to be high scoring. Louisiana Tech with Ryan Higgins doing a masterful job on offense, spreading it out to different receivers. And, of course, Trent Taylor having a great game. 8 catches so far, 148 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Carlos Henderson, who's the guy that's going to go to the NFL, he's kind of been understated, but still a touchdown catch in the first half. I think Navy comes out, they make some tweaks on offense. They're going to stick to their plan, Roy. They're going to pound the ball inside, outside, and they can get log blocks on that end line of scrimmage and get that option going, and I'm sure that's what their plans are for the second half.
And we Romine from inside his own 5. And straight ahead across the 20, hit hard down to the 21 with a late flag on the field. Check in once again with Chris Budden. Chris?
Well, Ken Niumatalolo's message to Zach Abey at half was take a deep breath and relax. He says he's playing okay and better than he played against Army. He's just missed a couple checks and that he's holding the ball too long, but he does say he's playing better. As for defense, he said really just been some busted coverages, and that's what's led to the explosive plays. I said, are you pleased? He goes, we have high expectations.
Yes, they do, as you would expect for a team that's won 19 games in the last 2 seasons. 8 in the box for the Bulldogs, trying to slow down this option attack. First half saw 55 combined points between these two teams. Navy, the pitch to the edge and far side, ushered out at the 40. The option run to perfection. Romine the carry. Trey Walker, a nice block to spring him that time, Tom.
Well, Trey Walker was out in front, and he was the lead wingback, and he got his man on the ground once again. Really upended him. Just a great block, great pitch that time by Abey. Waited till the last moment, and then when they fire the ball, they get it out on the edge like that. It just puts so much pressure on the defense.
That's a gain of 17 yards, this time from the 39. Abey will keep it, and he'll push the pile forward across the 45. The hit by Lloyd Grogan. Russell Ferris also combined to make the stop.
Well, in each team now, Roy, every possession is very meaningful. They know the opposition can throw punches and throw big haymakers and score points, as we saw with Louisiana Tech scoring right before the half.
7 remaining. The fullback dive. Needed 3, gained about 2.5. That'll make it 3rd in inches.
Navy so far 4 of 7 in the game on 3rd down. Again, one of the best in the nation on 3rd down conversion, but the reason they're good, they get it close. 3rd and less than 1.
Chris High, the fullback, 6 feet, 225-pound junior, right up the road in Oklahoma City. See if he gets the call once again. That's 33 in white. Romine in motion, and they'll give it to the bruiser straight ahead into plus territory. And he'll move the sticks, brought down by Canty. And Navy just kind of methodically going about its business to start this second half, Tom.
And Roy, one of the things they do there by formation, they had a tackle over. So Andrew Wood, the normal right tackle, came over. He lined up on the left side. And then they had Terrence Laster, the wide receiver, who's a big kid. He came down and he was the end man on the line of scrimmage. And sometimes they'll elect to run play action and throw back to those players. Laster is a great target, as is Brandon Colon.
From the 49 on 1st down. The pitch, Romine trying to get to the edge. He dives and stumbles his way across the 40. Close to another 1st down, and a great job to keep his balance.
Dyshawn Romine that time making a really nice catch of the pitch. And again, Zach Abey, I love how he runs this option. He gets the ball out and he pitches it where the runner is going to be. And so they catch it right in stride going full speed, and that just gives a ton of momentum to the ball carrier.
52 yards now for Dyshawn Romine on just 4 touches.
8:45 and counting down.
AB on the option. Gang tackled short of the 25, and his forward progress will give him an extra yard. The initial hit by Lloyd Grogan.
And this is where Navy sneaks up on people. They make some slight adjustments. Again, you know, they're willing to throw the ball down here in the red zone, and their use of screen is really a dynamic play for them down here if they feel as though the Tech defense over pursues.
14th play of the drive coming up, the opening possession of the second half of the Armed Forces Bowl. Navy ranked as high as 19th in the country this year. Wins over Notre Dame and number 6 Houston. The option look straight ahead, and there goes Chris Hyde. Navy's got another touchdown. Rumbled his way in from 24 yards out, the junior from Oklahoma City.
Well, and again, Navy gives it a deceptive look. They put tackle over, and Cologne, the wide receiver, was at the far end of the line of scrimmage, and then they hand off to the fullback. They just gash him again. Touchdown, Chris Hyde.
Well, Hyde was 10 yards down the field in search of contact. He was surprised there weren't more defenders there.
Well, you know, when they deceive them and they go tackle over, it requires Tech to bounce out an extra defender.
90 yards in 14 plays and just over 7 minutes off the clock. And how about Chris Hyde, the rumbling fullback, to tie us up at 31. And now with that touchdown on the board, a school record 517 points scored this year by the midshipmen. And after the fair catch, it'll be 1st and 10 for Louisiana Tech. So how do the Bulldogs respond now after Navy just kind of sucked the life out of that Bulldog sideline moments ago?
Well,
no motion. Boston out of the backfield on the swing pass. Boston Scott ahead to the 30. And fortunate to get back to the line of scrimmage. What should be the final play of a very quick third quarter. Just 3 total possessions, including 1 by Navy. It went 90 yards in 14 plays, resulting in a lone score. Tied at 31. Can Navy get to 10 wins for the 2nd straight season? We're about to find out. Chris Hyde from 24 yards out, the lone score of the 3rd. Stay tuned. And back in Fort Worth, Texas, you're watching the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl on ESPN for the start of our 4th quarter. And we are tied at 31 between Louisiana Tech and the Naval Academy. Great to have you on board tonight. This is why they play these games. Tom Ramsey, Chris Budden, Roy Philpott. A great one so far with much more to come here in our 4th quarter.
Great one to be a part of, partner, and tied at 31. We expected a close game. We expected a good game, and we have both.
Higgins on 2nd down and 9, flush from the pocket with a flag on the field, and it's incomplete. In coverage, Alohi Gilman. First time tonight we've called his name. Larry Smith with a call.
Illegal formation. Offense. More than 4 in the backfield. Got penalties declined. 3rd down.
3rd down and 9.
Yeah, it's a big play. You mentioned Alohi Gilman, the true freshman out of the state of Hawaii. And boy, he has played well this year. 5 tackles for loss coming into tonight's game. A very active player in the defensive backfield.
Hails from the same hometown as Ken Niumatalolo, the head coach at Navy. 5-man pressure shown here by the mids. Higgins with time. Rifles one down the field, and it's caught by Henderson. That's enough for the 1st down. Shoved out at the 47 by Tyrus Wooten.
Well, Henderson and Wooten still going at it. It's a great matchup across the field and right in front of the Navy bench. Tyrus Wooten again manned up on Carlos Henderson, and Henderson is so good at gaining separation from the defender, and Ryan Higgins stuck with him, drills the ball to him along the sideline. That's a big 1st down.
You see the targets for Henderson tonight with the 1 touchdown. Tap dancing in the corner for that score. Higgins now off the pump fake. Down the field. Open is Taylor. And there he goes again. Taylor brought down inside the 15. Alohi Gilman with the hits. And a sensational night for Trent Taylor continues after a gain of 43.
Resembles the play before the half when Higgins threw a bullet into Trent Taylor. Again, they they got down the middle of the field, Roy, and just split defenders, and Higgins again right on the mark.
And Higgins now over 300 yards passing this evening, 22 of 31 through the air, and a couple of touchdown strikes. Scott in the backfield will flank him and get the handoff. A short gain on first down. It almost feels like Louisiana Tech tries to run it just to try to keep that defense honest, and then they get you with the air assault.
And I'm telling you what, Trent Taylor, I'm going to throw another one out at you. Wes Welker.
Dude, of course.
You know, Julian Edelman. He reminds me of the guy. I mean,
so,
just get open. Just play. Do your job. That's all Trent Taylor does. He just gets open.
210 yards receiving for Skip Holtz's team tonight. On second down, they'll run the draw. Scott bounces it outside. Scott to the end zone. Touchdown. And Louisiana Tech back out in front after the 12-yard scoring scamper.
Well, you asked me a moment ago how I thought the Bulldogs might respond. And, you know, I think every possession is vital right now at this juncture of the game. And Louisiana Tech made the very best of this drive. And boy, does Boston Scott. He is elusive and he is tough as nails.
Redshirt junior from Zachary, Louisiana. Extra point on the way up and good. And our new score with 13:10 remaining in a shootout here in Fort Worth. 38-31. The Bulldogs back out in front. Well, what a game here for the Armed Forces Bowl. A touchdown lead for the team out of Conference USA. Boston Scott, his 6th touchdown of the season. Well, rehearsal yesterday for the delivery of the game ball today with the Texas Air National Guard, and the Patriot parachute team was canceled due to inclement weather this afternoon. But here at the Armed Forces Bowl, what a scene it was. And I'll tell you this, my friend, you couldn't pay me any amount of money to jump out of a plane the way that those brave men and women would do it.
Well, when our producer Pete Delarie asked me if I wanted to jump out of the plane, I took about a half of a second, said no thanks.
Not interested.
No.
Maybe next time.
No, I'd say Roy looks really good with a GoPro on his head, though, all the time.
Down to Chris Budden for much more. Chris, what do you have?
Yeah, well, Zach Abey on the sidelines, not really saying anything. His teammates trying to talk him through it. Will Worth trying to give him some motivation. And then Chris Hyde comes up. He goes, hey, remember what I told you? Relax and have fun. We got this. He goes, okay. Takes a deep breath, picks up his helmet, and ran out there.
And here we go. Abey back on the field, making his 2nd career start. And all eyes upon him once again. Instead, Navy smartly runs another quick play, and on the option, spinning his row line for a gain of 1 with the hit by Darrell Lewis, and actually that was Cass with a carry.
Yeah, and Colin Scott again from that inside linebacker position. He must be mirroring the quarterback, because Scott has made several plays off on the edge, and he can't be responsible for the fullback dive, because the fullback dive has, you got to stay home on that one.
Abey back to the air once again. Pass is caught. John Brown off to the races into plus territory, and for Brown, his first reception of the season, the stop by Darrell Lewis.
And that's just a great play with misdirection. So they show going one way, they come out the backside. Brown just coming across the formation, and Abey with a really nice touch throw that time for the first down.
The 5'9", 200-pound junior from Durham, North Carolina. And now Navy has something brewing. Off the pitch to Bonner. And Bonner far side, close to another first down. Xavier Woods brought him to the turf. It'll be 2nd down and 1.
Well, again, misdirection, and then they load block the end on the near sideline going into the Navy sideline. And just great play calling right now, and they're throwing some wrinkles at this defense that they just haven't seen. So the crash end comes down, they give away the edge, and then Abey again just getting the ball out to Bonner.
And Tom, you can feel that rhythm returning to this Navy offensive attack on 2nd and short. Abey carrying defenders across the 30. He needed 1, he picked up 11, and the drive continues.
Well, Abey is one
the
tough.
on the field, the runner was down. first down.
He's one tough young man. He lettered in 3 different sports in high school: football, rugby, and guess what? Wrestling. Why not? Go ahead and get into that state wrestling championship with you, Zach Abey. He was the runner-up, but he won his league, and what a stud, man.
And with that carry, Tommy goes over 100 yards rushing tonight. Off the pitch on the option, the near side run, and Cass ushered out of bounds inside the 20. Another first down for Navy.
Boy, they just keep coming at you. You know, they don't let up. They're still full speed, and they're getting blocks on the edge, and they're getting people on the ground. More importantly, the receivers, the backs, that time Romine out in front, throwing a block for his teammate Cass.
Pair of teams that finished as runner-ups in their respective leagues. Navy and the American. Louisiana Tech and Conference USA. This time from the 17. Abey straight ahead off the option. And barrels his way down to the 9. Knocked down by Grogan.
Zach Abey's a tough kid, I tell you. Great ball fake that time. I thought Chris High, the fullback, had the ball, and I had my glasses on the play, so all of a sudden 3 defenders went with Chris High, and then Abey pulls it out, and he just toughs it out for 8 yards.
Approaching 9 minutes to play. Chris High in the backfield, and he'll get the call. 2nd and short. Chris High to the end zone, and he's got another touchdown. His 2nd score of the evening, and Navy now an extra point away from tying this one up.
You know, Navy never leaves early. They don't leave the picnic early. They stay. and they stay with might, because that, again, great blocking at the point of attack. They block down. They bring a guard around Chris High. Just great explosiveness from that fullback position. Another touchdown for him.
Well, a game that has been even higher scoring than the experts expected. We're tied at 38 with 9:05 remaining. An offensive explosion here in Fort Worth at the Armed Forces Bowl. Chris High from 9 yards out.
For us, home is wherever we're together. And I look forward to being home with you soon. Really, really soon.
Well, never a dry eye in the house for those emotional reunions between members of our armed forces and their families back here in Fort Worth. We are tied at 38 apiece, 9:05 remaining. Chris Budden, Tom Ramsey, and Roy Philpott. Great to have you on board. Happy holidays, and what a way to get you kick-started this holiday season than good old-fashioned college football one more time.
Cooking up some good football, that's for sure. And boy, I tell you, 38 all. Each team now, who you think, you know, whoever has the football last may win this one.
Last one with the rock. That's right. Carlos Henderson on the return. Twist and turning his way out of bounds short of the 30-yard line. Louisiana Tech with decent field position to begin this next drive. This Navy team, most efficient squad in the country when it comes to penalties. Henderson off the grab ahead to the 40. 2nd down and 2 upcoming. Amos Mason with the hit.
Yeah, Henderson got blasted by Amos Mason, one of the senior leaders for that Navy defensive line. Mason out on the edge, and he just clocks Henderson. And I usually Henderson avoids those big hits, but not this time.
Well, Tom, you get the sense the team that has the rock last is going to win it, or perhaps the team that makes a big play on defense. Either a stop on 4th down or a turnover. This one far from over. Off the cutback and a first down carry ahead of the 45. As the drive continues for the Bulldogs, they hit by Norton.
Well, and Navy ripping at the ball. DJ Palmore that time coming out of the pile with the ball under his arm. But I believe they're going to mark him down. But right now, the Navy defense just ripping at the ball.
Back down to live action in a tie ball game. Inside give and big yardage for Louisiana Tech as Jared Kraft checks back in, brought down by Justin Norton after a gain of 16.
Nice call there, draw, and they move the pocket a little bit, and then they kind of slip the ball into Jared Kraft, and Higgins kind of rolls to his right, little kind of move draw, if you will, and Kraft getting up the field. And Kraft, we haven't spoken enough about him. He really has had a great year as well, playing with a bunch of passers and catchers. He's over 1,000 yards for the year.
Here's Henderson on the quick hitch. And a physical run after the grab ahead to the 26-yard line. That's a gain of 13. And Tom, we've already seen 76 total points, more than 800 yards of total offense tonight between these two teams.
Yeah, and Roy, those last two plays by the Bulldog offense, it is really, really special because now they're in the red zone. Now the clock is in their favor, whereas when they were at midfield, they were getting into a territory that, you know, Navy loves to have people because they wanted him to make some plays. Right now, Louisiana Tech has the momentum. And again, this spread offense just puts so much pressure on the defense.
Higgins, some confusion upon receiving the snap, keeps the play alive and floats this one out of bounds. What could have been a long loss of yardage, a late penalty flag on the field. Ends up being an incompletion. Micah Thomas applying the pressure that time, Tom.
Yeah, Micah Thomas.
There's no foul for an illegal man downfield. Second down.
Micah Thomas came hard again into the backfield. Higgins, though, it's a nice play. Just get rid of it, right? Burn the down. Micah Thomas had a chance. He only came up with the hand warmer that was around Higgins' waist. That's about all he could come up with.
That was by design by Ryan, of course. You'll think you're going to get me down, but you can't do it. From the 26 on 2nd and 10. Kraft will empty out the backfield. Higgins, a stutter step. Needs to get rid of it. Can he? He can, and out of bounds. He'll live to see another down. DJ Palmore, Brandon Jones, nearly got to him.
Not often do I say an incomplete pass might be the play of the game, but Ryan Higgins, by keeping the play alive, by not taking a sack, a sure sack in the backfield, Palmore has him. And he eludes Palmore, he eludes Brandon Jones, and somehow throws the ball out of bounds and burns it down. But this is a crucial third down because this, if they don't make it here, Roy, you're in for an awfully long field goal attempt, and that's not what they want to try.
3rd down and 10. Higgins steps up, searching for a target. Lofts it downfield for Henderson. Did he make the catch? No, it's intercepted. Intercepted by Jared Ryan. A flag on the field. Let's see if this play stands. He just ripped it away from Carlos Henderson. Was it illegal?
An absolute great play by Ryan.
Pass interference. Defense number 9.
Wow.
15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
I can only imagine that the referee would call a face guard.
Defensive injury.
Again, Ryan Higgins extends the play somehow. Well, that's a tough one.
That's a tough break for Navy. Well, he did wrap around the right arm initially, and that kind of spun Henderson around.
Well, and it's almost, the referee had a great angle, and what he saw was just that. He saw the arm grab and the spin around, and Henderson almost made a spectacular catch, but Ryan is the one that comes down with the ball.
So upon second inspection, likely the right call, even if initially it did not look that way.
Yeah, because he's in the chase position, and Ryan didn't get his head around soon enough. But I'll tell you, that's as close as it gets. In terms of a subjective, isn't it a pass interference call?
So instead of the turnover, first down and 10 from inside the 12 for Louisiana Tech. Bulldogs went 8-5 in the regular season, 6-2 in Conference USA. Runners up to Western Kentucky in the championship game. Out of the I formation, Kraft gets the call. And a punishing run crossing the 10. The hit by Micah Thomas. Who else?
Yeah, they bring in Bobby Holly, the fullback. He doesn't see a lot of action, but he comes in goal line short yardage and some red zone opportunities, and he lines up at that short fullback. And then they hand the ball off to Kraft, and Kraft just trying to get ahead, and he's met by a swarm of midshipmen.
Approaching 5 minutes to play, tied at 38 here at the Armed Forces Bowl in Fort Worth. 5:01 remaining, tied at 38, and here we go. Taylor goes in motion, and the inside give to Kraft. Tap dances his way across the 5. Third down coming up with a hit by Forrestall.
I think good thinking there by Skip Holtz, deciding to stay in with the fullback. So they end up running 21 personnel, which is 2 backs and a tight end, and they're 2 wides, and pound the ball, take a little time off the clock. Louisiana Tech third down conversions 49%, 8th in the country coming in. I'd say it's a pretty big third down for them.
Bulldogs need 3. Higgins looking for that back shoulder toss again. Henderson, did he make the catch? Touchdown! What a play for number 1. For the second time tonight, they've called his number in that same situation. And again, Henderson cashes in for 6.
Some players just have a knack for the end zone. Some have a knack for making great plays. And when you can do both, because Carlos Henderson right there, his second touchdown of the game, again on a fade route, locked up with Tyrus Wooten, and he just out battles Wooten for the ball. Strong hands, comes down with the ball, and now he's got 9 catches for 108 yards. That's impressive.
Just a redshirt junior, but you may be seeing the final collegiate game played by Carlos Henderson. He has been sensational tonight. 45-38 our new score. Tom, he steals the football right here. Steals it.
Yeah, he does. And this is a great low end zone angle. Ryan Higgins has really been spectacular, but he puts the ball where only his receiver's going to catch it. And, Wooten was right there. The corner was just battling him as well, and Higgins with his 4th touchdown of the game.
The 1-yard deep. Navy will have the football from its own 25-yard line after the 25-yard return, and penalty flags everywhere with some extracurricular activities. Play action on first down, lofting it for Bonner, who makes a diving catch. A late flag. The catch should count. And what a return for Daryl Bonner after a gain of 16. And Zach Abey back behind the line of scrimmage, holding his right knee, and that's not a good sign.
No, Zach Abey really took a shot that time.
We have 2 fouls on the defense. Pass interference, defense, number 41. That's declined. Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 94. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
So with Abey being attended to, we could be seeing Malcolm Perry for the first time. One more look at that last sequence. Malcolm Perry, the freshman from Clarksville, Tennessee, will fake the pitch. Off to the races. There goes Perry. Are you kidding me? Touchdown.
Nice call that time. Ivan Jasper, the offensive coordinator for Navy. Ken Niumatalolo, again, they're just at the controls of this offense. And, you know, to hand the keys over to Malcolm Perry, young freshman, he never thought he was going to get in the game, much less see the field this season. But he just snaps off the biggest play of the season for Navy. How about that?
Malcolm Perry hasn't completed a single pass this season. He's only rushed for 43 yards on 8 carries. How about 30 on that one toe to the rock and a touchdown to tie up this bowl game?
Boy, oh boy, you know, a little misdirection. They get fast motion, then all of a sudden Malcolm Perry with a fake toss. And I think that's the play they tried to get Zach Abey to run earlier on that crucial 3rd down in the 3rd quarter. And Malcolm Perry executes to perfection. And wow, yeah.
Let's see if they try to keep the ball away from number 1. On the verge of setting a new Armed Forces Bowl scoring record tonight. The old record, 91. It's safe to say that will be broken. Alfred Smith from a yard deep trying to make something out of nothing, and he can't do it. Chopped down short of the 15.
Now throws right back to Ryan Higgins. No pun intended. 25 to 36 on the night, 351 and 4 touchdown throws.
And all those numbers right as his season averages as Connor Smith on the swing pass tumbles ahead to the 20. Tyrus Wooten and Justin Norton combined to make the hit.
Yeah, and Ryan Higgins, not surprising, he was the most valuable player of Conference USA. Put up staggering numbers throughout the year, over 4,200 yards, 37 touchdowns prior to the 4 tonight. So he has had a spectacular season.
Pressure coming from the near side. Quick toss out to Henderson, makes a move, and another. And there goes Carlos Henderson. Tackled at the 40 in a hard collision after a gain of 20 yards. Micah Thomas. And Henderson being helped up. Boy, what a performance by both number 1, Carlos Henderson, and Trent Taylor, number 5, for this Louisiana Tech team.
And I'd love to hear the remarks of Tom Luganville and Todd McShay on Carlos Henderson and his acceleration when he catches the ball, because right here he catches it and then he almost comes out of his shoes because he's moving so fast.
Back to live action. Inside give goes to Kraft. Louisiana Tech going tempo and a gain of 10. So under 3 to play. Louisiana Tech trying to win its 9th game of the season. Has its destiny in its own control here. Now in plus territory.
Yeah, a crucial set of downs here right at midfield, because any mistake would give Navy great field position. Plenty of time still without any timeouts. And the midshipmen, they used them all early in the 3rd quarter.
4 wide on 1st down. Higgins surveys. And looking for Taylor, the spin move along the sideline. A little shake and bake to boot. Shoved out of bounds inside the 30. Alohi Gilman with a stop. Louisiana Tech, though, already in scoring striking range.
Really good job that time of Ryan Higgins coming off the route down the field. He throws to the sideline, and who else? Trent Taylor, now 12 catches and about 200 and what, he got 225 yards, I believe. He's had a night too.
Two-headed monster of Henderson and Taylor. 233 officially for number 5.
Yep.
Higgins now has thrown for over 400. Kraft straight ahead. And if you're Louisiana Tech at this point, you're keeping an eye on that clock. You don't want to give the football back to Navy with too much time remaining.
You'd prefer not to give it back to him at all. And I think what Skip Holtz is playing for now is ball control and burn some clock, because Navy cannot stop the clock. And so you can wean the clock down quite a distance here and settle for a field goal, but you still got to get some gains here.
They'll whip the screen outside to Connor Smith. That's a 1st down inside the 15. Chopped down by Wooten. And with 1:01 remaining, Louisiana Tech deep in Navy territory after a gain of 9.
Boy, a big throw and a big catch. Connor Smith that time, the 50-year senior, really gives Ryan Higgins, a great big target, and then to be able to get ahead, get the first down, and stay in bounds. That's the most important thing, not running out of bounds, keeping the ball in play and letting that clock continue to wind down.
High formation for the second time tonight. Kraft. A short pickup on first down. Navy unable to stop this clock. Out of timeouts. 23 seconds and counting, and this may be the final sequence right here. And how important were those timeouts used by Navy in that third quarter? They needed one of them to come up with a big play. But now out of timeouts, that has been a major factor. And Higgins will just down it in the middle of the field for his kicker. So with the ball spotted at the 15, this will result in about a 32-yard field goal attempt for redshirt junior Jonathan Barnes. Chris, more on Jonathan Barnes. What do you have? This one to win the game. Barnes kick on the way. And Louisiana Tech wins it. 48-45, the final score as the rain comes down in Fort Worth. And the Bulldogs will end their season at 9-5.
Well, partner, we knew this one lined up to be one of the best bowl games of the season, and it did not disappoint because the Bulldogs had the ball last. We thought it might come down to that. Jonathan Barnes drills one for the win.
Chris Budden has more on the field. Chris.
Coach, well, that was a good one. You told me before the game that Jonathan Barnes could be confident from 55. What was going through your mind right before that kick?
I felt good with him. He said to me, he goes, Coach, put it in the middle. This is where we kick it every time pregame. Just really proud of these players, the way they continue to compete. But for Jonathan Barnes, who I know we talked about earlier, missed a field goal to begin the beginning of the year from 39 yards out to make this a game winner. Really proud of him, but proud of this team, proud of these seniors. Winning 3 bowl games in a row, just really proud of what they were able to accomplish.
We'll talk about these seniors with Ryan Higgins, Trent Taylor. What does it mean to add one more W for this class?
It's 3 years and 9 wins. That's huge. I mean, huge. And you look at what these guys have done and what they've been able to accomplish. Like I said, I'm just really proud of them. They got a lot of compete in them, and you know what? Navy's got an unbelievable team. I mean, they compete like crazy. The way we knew it wasn't going to go easy. We knew whoever was going to have to earn it was a 60-minute game, and it took every second to get it done.
I know you said it was devastating not to get that championship, but what did it take from your guys to turn these things around during the break before the bowl?
Well, I think just time certainly helps. I mean, certainly time heals a lot of things, but to lose the last 2 games of the year, it was a bitter pill, you know, to swallow. But to come out here and win it and not be denied, just like I said, really proud of these coaches, these players, the hard work they put into it, the way they've worked for it, the way we prepared for it. Just really proud of what these guys were able to accomplish.
Perfect timing with the rain. Enjoy.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
What a game it was in the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl here in Fort Worth. The fireworks were aplenty, and the final score 48-45. Navy concludes its season at 9-5. And we look forward to the upcoming bowl games the rest of this eventful afternoon. Coming up next on ESPN, we take you to Mobile, Alabama for the Dollar General Bowl. Ohio taking on Troy. Thanks for watching, and good night from Fort Worth.